What is going on, Total Drama people? What's up? Today we have another Total Drama with video. This one was suggested by one of you guys. I'll put the comment right here. It's what if Eva didn't drop her MP3 player? It's pretty self-explanatory in how that would happen. I feel like her dropping it doesn't really change anything in the challenge. So Screaming Gophers are still going to lose. And you would expect for the Killer Bass to vote off like the first person that fell asleep. So the scene fades in. We never see like the first person that fell asleep. We see the first 3 people to fall asleep. The scene fades in, and it's 10-6, with the Killer Bass having 6 people. And it says that Bridget, Katie, and Sadie have fallen asleep. But then in a later scene, it says 10-9. Like, it doesn't make sense. Throughout the episode, the count was changing. But for the continuity of the show, we're just going to say it's these 3. If you want to argue about it in the comments, go ahead. I don't really care. I'll still probably heart the comment because I heart all you guys' comments because you guys are amazing. I don't care. But anyways, I feel like the Killer Bass are going to vote Katie and Sadie over Bridget because Bridget has more of like a chill personality, and Katie and Sadie just sat and like they just pooped in like a poison ivy in the ocean, which slowed them down last challenge. So they're gonna overall vote them off of Bridget, and we know they voted off Katie over Sadie, so they get eliminated. Another argument for like the fact of why they wouldn't remember like the exact final one is because like they're all sleep deprived and they don't really remember which is which. Anyways, episode 4, Dodgeball, pretty same. Killer Bass are still gonna win. They're probably gonna win even more with Eva on their team because Eva would probably be really good at dodgeball. Noah's gonna get eliminated for no reason besides the fact that he was being dumb and the writers were being dumb. Episode 5, the talent show. This is where like the big difference comes. The people who are doing the talents on the Screaming Gophers is still going to remain Justin, Trent, and Heather. Heather's going to read the diary. It's going to get Gwen really mad. That's still going to happen. But for the Killer Bass, I feel like they would have Eva do her talent over Bridget, like doing a handstand, because like Eva could probably do something like amazing with her super strength, and I feel like they would choose her over that. So, Deecha's going to get a low score. Eva's probably going to get a high score, but not enough to win. And Jeff's going to break his board, which means, and since Bridget broke Courtney's violin, they have no other option besides Bridget. And Bridget's going to throw up over everybody, and they're going to lose, and Screaming Gophers are going to win. And they're going to vote off either Bridget, Jeff, or DJ, because DJ got a low score and Jeff broke his board. So it's going to come down to those 3. But since Bridget broke Courtney's violin and she threw up over Sadie, I feel like they're more or less vote off Bridget since she did cost them the challenge. Sad that Harold doesn't get to show off his beatboxing skills. Very sad. Can we get an R.I.P. Harold's beatboxing skills in the chat, please? Anyways, episode 6, the camping episode. Instead of Katie and Sadie going off together because they got lost by eating berries, Sadie's just going to stick with the group, which means when it comes down to the end, they're going to win the challenge over the Screaming Gophers. So they're going to have to eliminate someone. And it's going to be down to Izzy and Owen because Owen told his bear story, and like Izzy disguised as bear. They both attract the bear, which made them lose sleep for the night. At the end of the episode, Heather blames Izzy and Owen, but mostly Owen, and she pushes him. I know you heard that from the Izzy Isn't Crazy video. I can't wait for part 2 to come out at the end of the month. So her and her 2 sidekicks are going to vote out Owen, but I feel like everybody else will vote out Izzy. And Justin, he's going to start making some major moves since he does not really like Izzy. Izzy's a little bit of friends with Owen, and he wants control of Owen. Because Justin is always nefarious from the start, because, like, back in episode 3, he painted his eyes so, like, he would look like he was still seeing. Like, he never just, like, became evil. He was always evil, and now he has time to realize that he can use his good look skills against his enemies. So, yeah, Izzy gets eliminated in this episode. She will be back. You'll see. Episode 7, This one is the Phobia Factor Challenge. I think it's gonna like mostly stay the same. The only new characters that are like inserts for other characters is that Justin is here instead of Izzy, and that where is Eva is here instead of Bridget. And like even if you don't believe that Eva wouldn't do her fear and that like Justin would do his fear, like no matter what you do, it's still gonna end up being it's still gonna end up being like down to Courtney. Like if everybody still did the same thing, you could try to do the math. Like Cody fails his thing, Shauna fails her thing. Like it's like 7. It comes down to 7-3. The only way that can change is if Justin weren't to do his challenge instead of Izzy doing her challenge. That would be 6-3. And if Eva did her challenge, that would still be 4-6. If you do the math, it does not add up. So it comes down to Courtney. Courtney fails the challenge, and it's down to Tyler and Courtney. They're going to vote out Tyler. I think Eva would still do her challenge, just by the way. Or we move on to episode 8. For episode 8, I think it's going to come down to like the fire challenge, but that didn't make like the biggest fire. No one really like, if you make a big fire, I guess like Chris says, if you're able to move on or not to move on. I feel like eventually the Screaming Gophers will make a pretty big fire, but the Killer Bass, Harold's gonna use the like the what's it called? The paddle. Why did I forget that? The paddle and to burn in the fire, which means they can't get back without any paddles, which means they're gonna lose and they're gonna vote off Harold because he was being an actual idiot. Episode 9, the like deer hunting challenge. Beth finally stands up to Heather for being super mean to her, but Cody still gets mauled by a bear. Screaming Gophers lose still. Probably lose even more if Eva's still here. But yeah, Cody gets eliminated because he gets mauled by a bear. It's stupid, but you know. And Justin takes notice on how Beth stood up to Heather. It's not as big as Lindsay's stand-up scene, but still, it's worth mentioning. Episode 10, the cooking challenge. This one is same, kind of like same story. Heather is getting out of control, trying to control her team. Lindsay still throws Heather's thing back into the freezer. Heather turns blue. They still lose because Owen eats all the ribs. But Justin here, he's not going to let Owen get eliminated. They're still going to vote off Beth for having the tiki thing. But Justin's going to take very interest on how skilled Heather is at this game. Episode 11. This one has like 5 parts to it. Like it's going to be really difficult. Okay, so Screaming Gophers. The first part is with Gwen and Heather and DJ and Duncan that still stay the same. Gwen's going to win. Heather's going to pull Gwen's panties down. But Gwen, she still wins. Then it's Lindsay and Trent, and instead of Bridget and Jeff, it will be Sadie and Jeff. And I feel like out of the Sadie and Lindsay, probably Sadie would be better than Lindsay. And if you want to say like Jeff would be like, all right, bro, I'll choose over you, man. I feel like the Killer Bats are still going to win that one. As for, like, the Apple one, it's still going to be Owen and Lashana. And now it's Courtney and Eva. So I feel like Eva would do much better than Lashana. So that's another win for them. And then the next thing is against Lindsay and Heather. And I feel like Lindsay would still drop Heather. And it would be Courtney and, I guess, Duncan maybe. And Duncan, out of spite, would still drop Courtney, which means that's 2 wins for the Bass and only 1 win for the Gophers, which means, like, it comes down to the final thing, and DJ still makes it. And the side plot where, like, Jeff finds DJ's bunny, he keeps DJ's bunny. Since he's no longer distracted with Bridget, I think he's gonna keep the bunny still there, since, like, it got eaten because he left it on the porch, on, like, the you know what I mean, and it got eaten up. But because he left it there, he was going to go hang out with Bridget. But because that doesn't happen, he still has the bunny, which means DJ doesn't peek for his eyes, which means the Killer Bass still win the challenge, and the Screaming Gophers had to vote someone else. Obviously, everybody would want to vote against Heather, Gwen, Trent, Lashana. But Justin's going to be smart. He's going to notice that Heather's a very smart player. He's also going to notice that Gwen and Trent they like each other. So he's going to team up with Heather to get rid of Trent. And they're going to have Lindsay, obviously Lindsay and Heather, that's pretty obvious, and Justin. And Justin's going to manipulate Owen with his good looks to vote against Trent, causing Trent to get eliminated. And we move on to episode 12, Basics Training. I still think Gwen would probably win because I don't think Eva would be able to write like a 300-word essay. She'd be probably bad at that. I think the Killer Bass are losing. And, there's like a group friendship between these four, which means it's come down to Sadie and Eva. I think they would keep Eva in because she's more of a stronger competitor than Sadie would be at this challenge. Also, Sadie's getting really annoying about missing Katie. Episode 13, the Extreme Sports Challenge. So for the first part, it's still going to be DJ, but now that Trent's gone, it's going to be Justin. Also, Gwen is very upset that Trent left. I didn't really mention this, but Gwen's upset that Trent left, and she's really mad at Heather. She doesn't know how she got eliminated since Heather only has Lindsay. So she's getting suspicious about Owen, because Owen, feels really guilty about voting off Trent. Anyways, it's Justin and DJ, and the Owen still sits on the thing, so they can't move it, which means Justin misses and DJ, and they still win. Second part is going to be Lashana and Jeff still, and they still lose. Lashana wins, so it's tied up, and it comes down to Heather and Eva and Lindsay and Duncan. And Heather and Eva, well, it's either Heather or Eva or Courtney. And if the top comes off for Heather, I feel like it wouldn't have as big as a reaction for them as it did for Harold. So I think they're still going to win that part of the game, which means they win and they lose. I know Lindsay would also win, but in an event of the tie, I feel like Chris would have some third thing where it's Owen against either Eva or Courtney, and obviously the other would be Owen or even Gwen, if you want to make that argument. So the Killer Bass win, and the Screaming Gophers have to send someone home. And Heather, with her new alliance with Justin, decides to send Lashana home. But they're worrying about how guilty Owen is feeling. Owen admits to voting off Trent to Gwen, and this is going to cause a little freeway. And feeling that guilty, Owen's going to vote for himself. But nonetheless, Lashana still gets eliminated, and we move on to the merge. So, we're kind of going to skip episode 14 since it's a non-elimination. So, we move on to the merge, and we have to bring Izzy back. If you want to argue that Chris wouldn't bring Izzy back, because, why would you only bring one person back? Izzy was never technically booted since she ran from the RCMP before she was officially booted. So Izzy could probably, sue her way onto this, and Courtney did it. Izzy could probably do it. So for this episode, now that Lashana isn't here, Eva is going to win the challenge, which means they have to decide who they're going to vote off. And I feel like the alliance between Lindsay, Justin, and Owen is still going to happen. But right now, they're going to focus off of that and start looking at the threats from the Killer Bass. Mainly Duncan and Courtney's relationship together. That's going to be a major threat to them. So they're going to target after Duncan. So Heather, Justin, Lindsay, and Owen, he wouldn't really want to do this since he's just happy that Izzy's back. He's all nice and dandy. I feel like Justin would also be able to manipulate Eva, since we've seen him be able to do that in the Total Drama Island special. Obviously, characters like Courtney, DJ, Jeff, and Gwen, they would want to vote off Heather. And I feel like Heather does have Lindsay on her side because, in the original, Izzy, when I said Lindsay, Izzy on her side because, in the original, she's already, on Heather's side when, it comes to the tape thing, so he would probably vote with him. So this comes down to how good of a manipulated skills Justin is between voting for Duncan or voting for Heather, and I feel like Owen would mainly vote out Duncan just because Izzy would tell him to do it, because that's what Heather would want from him. But this is going to be the last time Owen, really majorly sides with Duncan. He's still going to talk to, majorly sides with Justin. He's still going to, talk to Justin and stuff. But, he's not going to really force to be voted for on whoever side that, they choose. Episode 16, the treasure chest thing. For some reason, Heather randomly gets immunity. I'm just going to keep it like that. It's just plot convenience. You know this already. So, you would think people would want to get rid of Justin, but Eva has been, super angry to everybody, and there hasn't been a really good reason to vote him off. Because, if you look, it was down to Eva and Sadie, and, Sadie was being more annoying, and Harold just cost them it, Tyler cost them it, and Bridget threw up on everybody, and in episode 3, Eva didn't freak out. There wasn't a really good reason to vote off Eva until now, and I feel like everybody used that opportunity to vote off the strongest member on everybody's team to get rid of Eva. I feel like Owen would still not vote against Justin and would vote against Eva, but still, we move on to episode 17. Hide and be sneaky. Heather is still going to find Owen and DJ. I still think they're going to hide on top of the rooftop. But the boys' alliance will not form because Duncan is not there to form it. And you know how Justin formed it in season 2. He's not going to do that because right now he's mainly on Heather's side. So the boys' alliance is just not going to be a thing. So since Lashana isn't here, I think Courtney would probably be the best at hiding. I think she would be smart enough to, think of the idea of hiding underwater or, somewhere where Chef wouldn't find her. So, Courtney and Heather, they have immunity, which means the rest of them are at stake of elimination. So, for the elimination of episode 16, the two major threats would obviously be Eva and Justin. So, let's just put these two and I'll explain why. I feel like Owen would vote off Eva. Lindsay, Izzy, DJ, probably. But I think Heather's going to vote off Justin. And so will Gwen and Jeff. I just picked two random people. Because Heather is now starting to get worried. Because if Justin's able to still have Owen on his side, and Justin is Heather's more hated than he is. So if Justin's still able to have Owen on his side, if he can get Owen back on his side, he would be a major threat, as seen before. And if he can manipulate any other girl like Gwen or Courtney, that would be even more dangerous for Heather. So we move on to episode 16, Hide and Be Sneaky. I still think Heather's going to find Owen and DJ, and she won't let Lindsay find someone. But instead of Lashana winning, I think Courtney's going to win. I feel like she would be smart enough to find a good hiding space. So these two are the winners, and they're going to vote off Justin. Justin thinks he can counteract this by voting off DJ, and it's going to be Izzy's going to vote with Heather's side. Izzy's going to vote on DJ. Courtney's going to vote against Justin. Gwen's going to vote against Justin. Jeff is going to vote against Justin. Owen's in the middle. I'll get to Owen in a second. Justin will be like, listen, Owen, can you please vote off DJ for me, man? And Owen will be like, fine. And Owen, this is the last time, for real, that Owen votes with Justin. But Heather does not want Justin in her name of the game. She's going to vote for Justin, causing Justin to go home. If that weren't for Chris to reveal that this episode was a non-elimination challenge, because we need a non-elimination challenge since only one person came back in episode 15. And Chris is going to be like, you just can't write this stuff. And now Justin is going out it for Heather. You're done, Heather. Episode 18, the bike building challenge. So Izzy's going to build her bike. And I think Gwen or someone else I feel like Gwen or Courtney would probably join her. And even if Courtney didn't join Izzy on her crazy bike ride, she probably wouldn't be good at building a bike, considering she wouldn't want to get her hands messy. Because now that Duncan's gone, she's kind of going back into her stereotype more and more as each episode goes by. So yeah. Or you can just say that Owen joined Izzy because they're girlfriend and boyfriend, and now that he's not talking to the boys. Jeff still crashes. I know he probably would have time to build the bolts, but I still think that might look horrible. There's like a branch in it. Gwen still crashes. DJ still crashes. So it's down to these three, and I do not think Justin would make a good bike. So it's down to Heather and Lindsay in the final part, and that's when Heather realizes, oh shoot, I really need to beat Lindsay. Alright, I'll just manipulate her. Heather's gonna be like, alright Lindsay, I'll give you my immunity if you let me win. And Lindsay's gonna be like, okay. And then when it comes down to the dock of shame, when it comes down to when Lindsay loses, Lindsay's gonna be like, alright Heather, give me your immunity. But Heather's not gonna give her immunity because it's too risky, even though there's no immunity for anything, considering that only one person's getting eliminated. And Lindsay gets eliminated because of bullshit. Episode 19, the scary horror challenge. DJ's still gonna get eliminated. I don't think like Courtney or Justin would be worse than DJ. Episode during the last two episodes, Justin was really happy that Lindsay stood up to Heather. He was rooting her on the entire time, and he was happy that Heather got caught early. And yeah, episode 20, where you hunt down an animal. Doesn't matter who wins this challenge because Gwen won the challenge, yet she still was in the bottom two, so she didn't really get immunity for this challenge. It was really weird, so it just comes down to voting. So when it comes down to the elimination, Heather realizes that she's probably going to get eliminated. So she's going to walk up to Courtney and Gwen because, they've formed a relationship back in, season 3, now that Gwen has lost everybody. And she's going to be like, I'm sorry, Gwen. I'm sorry I got all your friends eliminated. That was mostly Justin's idea, but if you really, really hate me and you're still going to vote me, think about this. I lost the challenge, which means I have to clean the bathroom. If I'm going to get eliminated, then someone else is going to have to clean the bathroom. What if that someone else is going to be one of you guys? And also, if you think about it, Owen and Izzy having a relationship, that's too strong. In the 6 people left, you probably should get rid of Izzy since she did have a gun this episode. So Heather's going to make some valid points. Courtney would definitely vote off Izzy. Gwen, I'll talk about her in a minute. For Justin, Owen's going to vote off Justin. I feel like Heather would tell Izzy to vote off Justin. So that's 2 votes for Justin. And I feel like Heather would probably be able to manipulate Jeff, or maybe she would tell Courtney to try to convince Jeff. And I do think Gwen would try to vote off Heather. So that's 2 votes from Heather from Justin and Gwen. 2 votes for Justin from Izzy and Owen. And 3 votes against Izzy from Heather, Courtney, and Jeff, which means Izzy is eliminated. Heather didn't know Gwen voted for her, but she definitely is mistrustworthy considering how they both hated each other in earlier episodes. Episode 21, the teams are going to be still Heather and Owen, still Gwen and Jeff, and still Courtney and Justin. So the first part of the challenge, I think Heather and Owen, they're still going to win. They're still going to win the eating part because it's Owen. The second part of the challenge where you put it on its back, I still think Gwen and Jeff are going to win. Justin would probably be way too scared to go in there. And third part of the challenge, I think Courtney would probably be able to remember everybody's elimination, which means it's still tie, and this is where Justin is done. Justin wants his revenge against Heather. He does not want Heather to slip by like he did in episode 20, episode 19, and episode 18. He's going to tell Gwen, vote Heather off of him. Heather's the most hated person on the island. And Gwen does that, and she convinces Courtney to do that too. And I feel like Owen's still going to vote off Justin. He doesn't know about that. And Jeff is going to vote off Heather for being super mean. Yeah, Heather convinced Justin to vote off Izzy, but Izzy's a little bit crazy. That's why Jeff probably did it. And she had a gun last episode. Which means Heather is eliminated. And not Hop Cancer. Why did I say Hop Cancer? The episode where you see the non-eliminated contestants play out the Plata de Losers. I know I said it wrong. I don't care. So, I feel like when it comes down to, the eliminated contestants voting off someone, it first starts with Cody and Sadie, and that forms a chain reaction. So who do I think Katie and Sadie would say for here? Well, I don't think they would say Justin. People might argue with me saying that, like, in the other episodes they were really attracted to him, but that was in episode 22. He's not there in episode 22. That was in the big special and further on, and that has not happened yet, and they were not on the same team. So they're probably going to pick someone that's on the same team. I know Lashana wasn't on their team, but that was like really contrived to have Lashana eliminated. So Courtney and Jeff are both on their team. And if you look back in episode 5, Sadie was like comforting Courtney, and like before the apple incident, they were I guess they're like kind of girl power ever since Katie got eliminated. So I feel like she would pick Courtney, and like everybody else would like argue, what, Courtney? If you like Courtney, keep her in. And then Courtney gets eliminated. It's so... Episode 23, we're not going to talk about because Owen's still here, so Mr. Coconut still happens, which means we move on to episode 24. And I feel like the teams are going to be Owen and Jeff and Gwen and Justin, because it's like two people that don't really talk to each other that much. And I feel like Justin would try to use his flirtatious skills on Gwen. It would kind of work. And Owen's getting fed up with Justin, so he's completely fine with sabotaging him. Like, he's okay with that. And when it comes down to elimination, Owen goes for the cinnamon buns and not the flagpole, which means Gwen and Justin win the challenge. And Jeff has to choose between Jeff and Owen. And yes, Jeff did make it farther than Owen in, like, the basic straining challenge. But we know that he would vote Duncan over Owen, probably because Duncan was an ex-convict. And I feel like Chef would be too mad that he has too much of a chill vibe going on, and there's not a lot of drama going on with Jeff. So I feel like Chef would just get rid of Jeff, which means our final three is Owen, Gwen, sound familiar, and Justin. So when it comes down to the episode and Owen gets a bunch of bottles and Justin would not want to get any bottles, Justin would be very afraid to do any challenges. He would mostly focus on putting them towards either... He doesn't really have any rivalry with Gwen, as he just try to like flirt with her. But Gwen's not going to get many bottles, so he'd probably like force Owen to do it and be like, thanks, Owen, bro, you're the best, man. And when it comes down to when Owen has a lot of bottles and Gwen makes a deal with Owen, Owen's going to give all his bottles to Gwen. And he's going to be like, no, I'm done with you, Justin. We are through. Done. Over. And just going to be like, what? And now that everybody's forcing Justin to do things, Justin does not want to do anything. I don't think it would even get to the point where he would shave his hair. I think it would be something less dramatic, which means Justin gets eliminated. And the final two are Gwen and Owen. Does this look familiar? Yeah, it's the same outcome, but with a different story in between. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. Also, Switchy, if you see this, please comment down below. I want you to comment down here. I saw you comment on Total Drama Theory, and now I want you to comment on this video. Please. Bye!